Welcome to Wizards Outlook. We are happy to be here this evening. Um, some different news. How about this? The Washington Wizards, 3 game win streak. This is the first 3 game win streak they've had since last March. Just to put that in perspective, they were getting close to a year between having 3 game win streaks. They beat it almost, just barely by a month in advance. But three in a row, balanced effort tonight. 119-102 win over Brooklyn. You have Bilal Coulibaly with the triple-double. Bub Carrington with the double-double. 40 freaking assists. Solid outing. Ray, we'll start with you and then Cardell. Just your thoughts on what went right for Washington. And again, I'm going to keep saying this, 3 in a row.
Um, Energy, shot selection, sharing the ball, defense. Um, those things at a reasonably high level, got a good chance of winning the game. This is they generated a lot of high quality looks. We always talk about the 3-point attempts. They shot 43 tonight, made 20 of them. It's about 47%. You can't argue with that. If it's working and you getting quality looks, then have at it, man. But those nights when it's 43 attempts and 9 makes, that's when you have a problem, and that's when we see those blowout games. But yeah, man, I love the way they started the game, and they pretty much held that intensity all night. They held the Nets to 12 points in the third quarter. I don't know when the last time they've done that, but yeah, we've been seeing that from them, during this win streak. They they've been the ones, like I said, like I've been saying, they've been having those one quarters where they just kind of stretch the game open. We're used to them being on the receiving end of that, so it's refreshing to see them kind of dish it out. But yeah, man, Bilal, I had the triple double as you pointed out. Bub had a solid game. We're probably going to see him get back to get more minutes. When he was playing well in the beginning of the season, he was in the lineup more often. So hopefully he'll just continue to develop. But yeah, man, they were facing those bigs that typically give them issues, and they rose to the challenge tonight. They won the battle on the boards. Gave up a little more offensive rebounds than I'm sure they would have liked to, but for the most part, they competed, did their thing, and came out of there with the win.
Cardell.
Yeah, balanced attack. When you look at things on the Wizards side of things, with seven other players scored in double figures tonight. Two players, Carrington and Coulibaly, combined for 21 of their 40 assists. I mean, that's just a ridiculous number to have for a team to have 40 assists and half of them be from two players. Normally, it's typically one player putting on most of those assists, man. But from two players to do it, it was just a clinic. And also keep in mind, Bilal Coulibaly had 6 turnovers. So if he got that down to his normal average, about 2 or 3 or whatever, the assist could have been up even more. By far, probably the best all-around game and most complete game that the Wizards have played this season, as far as the impact both ends, playing together, being on the string on both ends, just staying connected. And that's what a lot of coaches preach to their team. Stay connected offensively, stay connected defensively. Because look, I don't care how great a defense is. One thing that can beat any defense is the pass, because you're always playing catch up. And if you make a precise pass where to your teammate, where they need it and where they're in prime scoring position, it's just up to him to make it. It's nothing you can do as a defender. You know what I mean? So that's what you basically saw. But ultimately, this game is won in the third quarter. Again, the magic number for the Wizards to be in striking distance to win games, keep teams below 30 points. When teams score above 30 points, it's a wrap. They lose. And they only allowed one 30-point quarter from the Nets today, but in the third quarter, they held them to 12. So that kind of neutralized, that kind of took away from that 35-point quarter a bit. And, that was a hell of a defensive performance. They held the Nets to 21% shooting in that quarter from the field. And they literally held the Nets with Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, all these 3-point shooters, held them to 1 of 10 from shooting from deep. Just outstanding defense, just ridiculous defense. Yes, the Nets probably missed some makeable shots, but that's also because the Wizards were there. It wasn't just wide open warm-up shots that through most of the season we've seen the Wizards allow. They were closing out. They were closing out with purpose. They were staying connected. They were playing on the string, and they also play with like what Ray said, energy, man, just youthful energy today, man. Just we win it, man. Let's keep this thing going. Let's not go back to losing, man. Let's build it up, man. So we gonna get to the trades or whatnot. But what you also saw today was the young boys knowing, not only understanding like, all right, here's my opportunity, and they know they're gonna consistently get an opportunity if they perform, because a couple of veterans have been shipped out, and now they're being evaluated. This front office looking like, all right, who's gonna be here for the long haul? Like who is it? You know what I'm saying? So guys are playing, and they play well. Again, I don't want to hear that they played against some other lottery teams. They were getting smacked by these lottery teams through most of the season. So at this point, I'm not about to nitpick a win. Get them how you get them by any means necessary. And because yes, the youngins, they've had enough experience in the league. I'm talking about the rookie core, even Koulibaly. You know what I'm saying? He that makes the youngins. The young core has had enough experience to understand what the NBA is about up to this point. Now they gotta learn how to play winning basketball to truly start to turn this thing around. And that's a totally different thing. Yeah, you can understand how to play in the league and get yours, but can you do it and help your team win? And that's the next step for this team. And once they figure that out, then the Wizards be back in the mix as being, relevant as far as playoffs or whatnot. But that's just something they got to keep working towards right now. But the last 3 games, including tonight, it's promising.
Yeah, as you said, promising. It's great to see them. The joy. It felt like they played. You can see the joy through the screen all night. That youthful energy for sure goes a long way. And I want to give credit to Rashawn Holmes. You talk about some of the trades, some of the stuff moving around. I know we've highlighted, JV when he was here, Brogdon as well. But Rashawn Holmes went a long time without getting consistent minutes. And he stepped in recently and has really produced, being a willing rim protector, being a big body, just being really active. I think Corey Kisper's continued to be solid throughout this entire season. But yeah, the youngsters, man. Once again, Keyshawn George, 17 points, 6-8 from the floor, 5 of 7 from deep. We talked about Bubba already. Bilal, just a good night all around. Sheer Penny continually be consistent in his minutes. Like you said, it's about finding a way to be consistent so they can continue to become consistent pros and grow in their roles. But it's good to see this. Like, we've seen a lot of bad basketball this year. I'm with you, Carter. I'm not about to pick apart. A 3-game win streak is a 3-game win streak. We are not doing that at all. Been on them when it's been bad. Give them credit when it's been good. 3-game win streak for the first time in damn near a year is a positive. There's not another way to look at it. And again, the ball moved. Can you guys remember a game this year when the balls moved this much? 40 assists is crazy.
Hey, man. And it's amazing when you move the ball, how shots just go in. Magically go in instead of you trying to go 1-on-4 and take these tough-ass shots, and you wonder why your percentage is low. It's like I always say, man, basketball's not complicated. We just complicate it.
And even what's it called? We've talked about so many times at the end of games. We go through the team stats and boxes that the Wizards either checked or didn't check. Right? Fast break points tonight. Only won that by 6, even in the paint. But they moved the hell out the basketball. They played a 12-point quarter is absurd for this group. We've seen there was a stretch here for almost a month where everybody got at least a 38-point quarter, if not a 40-point quarter in games. So 12 points is huge. But again, good win for Washington. Like you guys said, we will get to the trades, but we'll start first with player of the game.
Koulibaly, for sure. I think this might be his first triple-double of his career.
Yep.
11, 11, and 10, 5 and 9. He only shot the ball 9 times, man. You know what I mean? Absolutely. By far, that's easy.
Ray, in agreement here. Koulibaly all the way around.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, X Factor.
I'm rolling with Bud. This might be his first double-double. I'm not sure. He's always been knocking on the door of it, but I think this is his first double-double, possibly 16 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover. 35 minutes, 5 of 8 from the field, 4 6 from deep, 2 2 from the line. Unreal efficiency in all facets of the game. Literally nothing you can point to negatively about his performance tonight. He handled business in a major way.
And it was his second. He got his first in November. So
Okay.
second double-double, and agree with everything that was just said. So we'll get to these trades, man. We just had a late add to one of the trades that just came through. Find the best way to go about this. So we'll start with the Milwaukee Bucks trade. This trade, Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, and a pick swap to the Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr. in second-round draft compensation. What also just happened, Shams broke, is the Knicks jumped into that trade, and Jericho Sims is a part of it, and Sims is going to the Bucks along with Kuzma and Baldwin Jr. But from the Wizards' perspective, Cardell, start with you. Your thoughts on this trade?
Look, man, I think when Kuzma made those comments about a week and a half ago about, kind of playing to help develop the young core, you can kind of see that his days were numbered, because you can't get in the way of that. That's the future. That's the direction the organization wanted to move and have said as much. And you said you was on board. So once you said that, along with the losing and all the other stuff, it was just time. You know what I mean? So I'm not shocked. We all knew he was one of the pieces that, as we got closer to the trade deadline, that a lot of teams would probably be calling for if they weren't already calling for. So that's not a knock on Chris Middleton. Unfortunately, the injury, he hasn't been the same, and with his age and the mileage, and then you add in an injury. Sometimes it's just tough. It is what it is, you know what I mean? So I don't really anticipate him being here long. I think he'll be another piece that a contending team will probably come in and try to get again. Maybe with some other pieces we don't know, but I think that's what that is. If he elects to stay, I'll be shocked. So we'll see how that play out. AJ Johnson was in the draft last year, I believe, the Koulibaly draft. Promising player, came from the NBL, very dynamic, both ends of the floor. I think he can fit right in with this young core. Versatile guard, defend, can score from all 3 levels, playmate. I think he'll fit right in. Just develop, and obviously make practices a little bit more competitive, and that should, iron sharpens iron type of thing. You know what I mean? So, look, man, he just fits in with what they're about right now. That's just growing the young fellas. You know what I mean? So, and then second round draft compensation. If people haven't been paying attention, having some picks, very valuable when you're trying to move people. Very valuable. So, they're trying to get some of those picks back that they've lost, through some bad trades and stuff like that. So I'm not knocking it. It is what it is. We know what it's about. Building around this young core and seeing what happens in the future. So they got another young piece, and they got a veteran who's accomplished, who can attract more young pieces or picks. So it's a positive for me.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely like the move. Like Ardell said, I mean, the writing was on the wall for Kuz. He probably wanted to change the scenery, and it was probably in the Wizards' best interest to move him. Yeah, I think this is just a pit stop for Chris Middleton. No, I definitely would expect to see them kind of leverage him into something else this offseason. But yeah, I mean, we've been saying it since this new regime took over. You're at ground zero of a rebuild. A lot of things are going to move around. You just gotta make the best of the situation. The Wizards aren't attracting big time free agents. You got to acquire pieces when you can, draft well, and develop that talent. And yeah, AJ Johnson, I definitely think he fits in well. It kind of fits the mold of the players they're pretty much stockpiling at this point. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see him develop with the young guys they already have.
Oh yeah, as you guys laid out. Look, man, we know what time it was. I think we mentioned we want to go back a year when they got Kuz and Poulier. One of the possibilities one of the things we talked about the most was the opportunity that both of those two young guys had at that time to see if they could lead. And the way opportunities go, someone either seizes them or they don't. We've reached a point where it wasn't seized. Therefore, this was always an option. We've got to this place. I don't think it's a shock. It was always an option, and we're here. AJ Johnson, yeah, like you said, Cardo, another young, talented piece to add to this young group. Get in here, get opportunity, get you some minutes off the bench, possibly at the very least. That's another rangy, versatile player they got to see in practice. And again, get him comfortable here, because he'll be at least going to be here next year. It's another quality young piece, and you swung. If it works out, it's yet again another young guy to your group, versus somebody who clearly, however it worked, didn't want to be here, ready to go, what have you. Youngster, they don't have a choice but to be here. Now you got to come in, find your way in the NBA, make the most of it. It's in their best interest. And like you guys said with Middleton, I would also be very shocked if he's played this throughout the rest of this season, with the team in this current place. If you're him at his time in his career, why? Just being honest, I'm not being disrespectful or anything. Just why?
With this injury history,
Yeah.
I risk it.
Mm-hmm. Like if you're gonna risk it, would you rather risk it on a contending team? Minimize the minutes and make the most of this side of your career, right? The second trade we were talking about, we had to discuss. The Washington Wizards traded Jonas Valanciunas to the Sacramento Kings for City Sissoko and 2 second-round picks. Cardell, you were just talking about the second-round picks and ammunition. That brings the teams as they allow them to move, both obviously at the trade deadline and prior to. But Ray, your thoughts on this one, and then Cardell.
Yeah, I actually didn't want to see Jonas go, but I knew it was likely. But yeah, I mean they got a young player out of it and some draft capital. I definitely understand the move from a management standpoint. But yeah, man, he was definitely one of the bright spots of the team. His veteran leadership was definitely welcome here. But yeah, man, I mean, business is business. You got to do what's best for the team, especially like I said, in the state that the Wizards are in, they got to kind of move quick and pounce on things when they can. So yeah, I just think this was just a move to stockpile some draft capital for a potential move later on.
Cardell.
Yeah, like Ray said, man, Jonas was a hell of a bright spot and depressing year overall so far. Pros came to work. Never seen him complain. Never seen him pout. He just did his job, man. And those type of players, especially in this day and age, I applaud them. That's few and far in between. But honestly, I was kind of hoping he would go to someplace where he could thrive and win. He's out there, early 30s and stuff like that. When you were a veteran at that point, man, that's all it's about at this point. You done did everything. You done established yourself. So it's nothing else left to prove. Everybody know you can perform. So it's about winning. And obviously off the court, setting your family up as your career winds down. So I'm happy he's going to the Kings. That front court with him and Sabonis, and then they just get Tice. Tice went to OKC. My fault. He went to OKC. Yeah, it goes back to my point I've been saying the last few years. If you don't have bigs, you're done. So people want to learn. Some people want to learn that the hard way. But yeah, man, I'm happy you got that. Again, the Wizards are investing in promising young prospects, and they're going to allow them to perform and weed yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they're going to roll the balls out. Let's see what it is. And those who thrive want to stay. And those who don't, I mean, there's a couple of them that's been moved around quite a few times already. Probably going to be it. Just how it goes. So we're going to see how it goes, man. You know what I'm saying? It should make for some, like I said, interesting battles behind the scenes and practices and workouts and stuff like that to determine who's in the guards for the future of the Wizards, man. So, like I said, I remember him with the G League Ignite, promising prospects, still trying to figure things out, still a little inconsistent, but you can see the talent there. Just like we showed the clip, hitting the threes, long-rangey athlete, 6'6", can guard 1, 2, 3, rebound, underrated playmaker. As with a lot of young players, it's not necessarily always talent or ability. Can you be consistent? That's what makes a pro a pro. You got to do it night in and night out, and that's the difference. So only time will tell if he's up to the challenge, man. So, but definitely, happy for Jonas.
Yeah, as you guys said, about being happy for JV. That's you do not get a break now, Dillon Sacramento. Sabonis comes out, you get JV. That's a long night. I don't care who you are as a big. That's a whole lot of banging you got to deal with. And for Jonas, Rose Pro this entire time, what he just came off a 18 rebound game. On his way out of here, like he's consistently producing. However, the minutes fluctuated this year, and with Sissoko. Again, Washington has yet another Frenchman to their roster. And again, it's a pair of 20-year-olds, man. We know how young this young group is already. If you're gonna, swing on upside or whatnot, 2 20-year-olds, man, 2 20-year-old wings. Cardo, you talk about with the size, length, athleticism. If you're right, you got 2 young wings to add to your rotation. If you're wrong, what did it like? All right. You still got those second round picks you got in the deals, right? And you go and swing again. So.
But isn't this blueprint eerily similar to another blueprint that they come from? That's kind of dominating the league right now. I'm gonna let the viewers figure out who I'm talking about. They gotta do some homework sometimes, man. These people out here lazy, man. But it is just look at Winger and Will Dawkins. Just look at their history and where they come from. You'll see a trend that's eerily similar to a team that's a title contender right now, and what they've been doing the last few years, building up to get to this point.
And piggyback off that, the type of players they went to go get along the way. There's a through line through all this. If you're young and you don't defend, I don't know if you're here. It's gonna be honest. Like
I don't know if you anywhere.
With that too.
You're in the G trying to figure it out. I'm like, all right.
You're right. Anywhere, but yeah. Like this group has clearly made it that is a focal point. And like you said, that also, like you said with the homework, that's also a through line over, the mother stops. But if you guys have nothing else, we appreciate you guys. We're checking with you guys. They got back-to-back home games this weekend. We're checking with you guys Friday night and Saturday night.